This time is different. Probably the 4 most dangerous words used in finance. But for the first time ever with institutional money flowing in, is Bitcoin about to shock the world?
Oh my God!
Well, for us to understand why, we'll explore the supply shock caused by the recent ETF approval, how the upcoming halving is about to add more fuel to the fire, and why a $1 million Bitcoin in the next 10 years is now more realistic than you might think. But first, what if Bitcoin wasn't just digital gold for the tech savvy, but recognized as a powerhouse in the global financial system? Sounds like a distant future. Well, that future may be closer than you might think. Gone are the days when Bitcoin was whispered about on the internet's Wild West, a place for criminals to anonymously sell drugs along with other shady transactions. Fast forward 15 years and the script has been flipped dramatically because a landmark event just unfolded. The US has greenlit not 1 but 11 Bitcoin exchange traded funds or ETFs this January. This historic move signals a tidal shift. But what does this really mean for Bitcoin and perhaps for your own financial future? Well, 2 big reasons stand out. First, it's about its legitimacy. The US Securities and Exchange Commission, also known as the SEC, a watchdog that once kept Bitcoin at arm's length, is now embracing it, giving it a badge of honor it never used to have. And second, it's about accessibility. With these ETFs, Bitcoin has swung open the doors to the largest financial playground in the world, inviting billions of dollars to dance with the digital currency, and the results, they speak volumes. These 11 new ETFs have witnessed a surge like no other, with record amounts of money pouring in. But this isn't just another day in the market, it's history in the making. Bitcoin's price soared to new highs, fueled by the unprecedented demand that the Bitcoin network's daily production simply can't keep up with. We're talking about demand that outstrips supply by a factor of 10. But what if this is just the beginning? With the most powerful people in the world now paying attention, the stakes are higher than they've ever been. Remember those 4 words? This time is different. They've never been so relevant. With a landscape so dramatically transformed, we're left wondering, what if? What if this is really the turning point for Bitcoin and the financial world at large? Well, there's one big sign that hints towards that, because the timing of these ETFs couldn't have been more spot on. They align perfectly with an event that rolls around just once every 4 years, an event that historically has flipped the switch on for the bull market. But what if this time the game's changed entirely? As we tick closer to this critical moment known as the Bitcoin halving, it's like all the stars are lining up in a way that we've never seen before. But let's break down why this halving thing is such a big deal. Every 4 years, as most of us know, Bitcoin cuts the circulation in half. At the moment, the issuance is 900 Bitcoins a day, and that's going to go down to 450 after the halving. This isn't some random feature. It's all about making sure Bitcoin stays rare and, by extension, valuable. Throw in the massive wave of cash from those new ETF approvals, and we're staring down the barrel of a supply crunch we've never seen before. The hunger for Bitcoin could soon blow past what's actually available, priming us for some serious priced fireworks. But not everyone's buying into the frenzy. Take legendary investor Warren Buffett. He's not exactly a fan, and he's famously said that he wouldn't even buy all the Bitcoins in the world for $25. Bullshit. Yeah, right. I'm sure he's probably got $1 billion worth of Dogecoin. But this goes to show that in the investment world, opinions are all over the map, and it's clear that the old school ways are getting a run for their money. So here we are on the edge of this halving event against a backdrop of crazy institutional investments. It really makes you think, could we be on the verge of a Bitcoin explosion that makes it the next big gold rush? But speaking of gold, let's take a quick trip down memory lane. A century ago, gold was a modest $20 an ounce. But fast forward today and it's blasted over $2,000. That's a 100x jump despite the massive supply in gold. But here's something to chew on. What's been happening with gold supply? It's grown about 2% annually, and a staggering 2/3 of all gold ever mined was dug up after the 1950s. Now, let's play an intriguing idea. So imagine if gold was as rare as Bitcoin. If gold supply hadn't tripled over the last century, could we be looking at gold worth $1 million an ounce? Sounds like a crazy stretch, and you'd be right in saying that. But remember, Gold's value took a leap and more than quadrupled in just 7 years after it got a new lease on life in the US market back in 2004. And this is exactly where Bitcoin enters the scene. Bitcoin's rarity is not just by design, it's a fundamental feature. With the new wave of Bitcoin ETFs making their debut in the US, Bitcoin's not just knocking on the door, it's ready to kick it down. And given the scarcity and the increase in demand, the thought of $1 million Bitcoin in the next decade doesn't just seem possible, it feels almost inevitable. But what if I told you we could soon be entering a world where the US dollar isn't king of the hill? Sounds far-fetched? Well, maybe not as much as you'd think. But let's explore how Bitcoin might be just the dark horse ready to challenge the status quo. For nearly a century, the US dollar has reigned supreme as a go-to currency worldwide. But now it's not just one challenger stepping into the ring, we've got a few. The Chinese yuan, the euro, and the collective might of the BRICS countries are all eyeing the throne. And the world's financial landscape is shifting, signaling a readiness to lessen the grip the US dollar has on global trade and economics. But here's the million-dollar question. Can any of these contenders realistically knock the dollar off its pedestal? While it's true the globe is inching towards a change, finding a currency that's universally respected and trusting enough to take the lead role, well, that is a tall order, but enter Bitcoin. Unlike any currency we've ever seen before, it's decentralized and operates without the need for trust in the traditional sense. It's not something that can be printed on a whim or manipulated easily. This sets the stage for a fascinating possibility. What if a major player on the world stage decided to back Bitcoin as a reserve asset? The implications could be massive, triggering a domino effect we can only begin to imagine. Only time will tell, but one thing is for sure, the race for currency supremacy just got a whole lot more interesting.
It just got interesting!
That begs the question, are Bitcoin's glory days behind us? Well, from the elite corners of high finance to your nan, dentist, and the local pub, Bitcoin is a buzz right now. But here's the burning question on everyone's lips. Have we missed the Bitcoin boat? Looking back and saying it's too late feels the right thing thinking about Bitcoin a decade ago. Yet it's often the daily price watchers who fret about the timing. Imagine waiting for the next crash, dreaming of snagging Bitcoin at a discount from its peak versus seizing the moment now. The choice is a bit like choosing between waiting for the next big sale or grabbing that must-have item before it's gone. But the plot thickens. So remember when the world went haywire and the money printers went brr? Well, in response to a global crisis, the Federal Reserve cranked up the currency press, leading to inflation spikes we haven't seen in years. The response? A move known as quantitative tightening, or QT, aimed to rein in the runaway prices squeezing the economy tight. But this is exactly where Bitcoin dances into the spotlight. Unlike traditional money, no government can just print more Bitcoin. It's a game of finite numbers, and with the whispers of interest rates getting lifted and us going into a stage of quantitative easing, we're looking at a risk-on vibe creeping back, setting the stage for Bitcoin to soar into uncharted territory. As we stand here at the crossroads with the world's economic gears shifting, is it really too late to jump on the Bitcoin Express? Or could this be the perfect storm that propels Bitcoin to heights even the most optimistic couldn't have predicted? Unlike Warren Buffett, I'm feeling pretty bullish about Bitcoin, but if you don't have money to invest in the first place, then you're going to miss out. So check out this video on the 7 proven ways to make $500 a day, even if you're broke.